5.5 years ago, we had a project, in the Department of Justice. It was a managed service contract. We were having people doing these approvals, the deputy CIO for doing approvals on some of these things. We wanted something that was going to be slick, that it had to be easy to operate. It had to have a good interface. We went out, and at the time, there were a couple other products on the market that we did a huge analysis of. And they were all good products, but when it came down to it, AeroPrize met all my requirements. It really turned out that, in fact, that some of the SLAs that the managed service provider was actually paying at the time, because they weren't meeting some of the SLAs, were being impacted. And as field engineers were going out and they were fixing somebody's laptop, and then they would get in their car and they would drive 6 hours or 4 hours, depending on where the location was, and then they'd get back to the office, and then they'd log into their mainframe and say, hey, I've closed ticket 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and by the time it got back into Remedy, we were missing some SLAs. So part of this solution was that hey, look, now we've got something where that field engineer in the field can literally say, I've closed John Jones's ticket at 12:22, or Remedy will capture the 12:22. So the business people on the managed service providers, they were jumping up and down saying, oh, this is exactly what we need. Users, they get notified that, oh, look, they see their tickets, they open up their tickets, and then they can say, okay, this is going from a new to now I've got control of it, because we had a 4-hour notification where we had 4 hours to get a hold of the customer and recognize, let the customer know that at least they were on their way to the agent's location. And then we'll go back to my other project, and that is in the change process where we're trying to use AeroPrize for approvals. An approval process, currently a lot of the governments still use a paper process. Well, now I've got 2 huge organizations using SRM, and those approvals are being delayed because the managers who have to do those approvals are busy as beans. They're going to meetings. They're spending, they're in their offices at 7 a.m. and then they're back in their offices at 7 p.m. and that's when they're doing their approvals. And now this thing is going to be approved in 3 hours or 30 minutes versus 12 or 18-hour wait. And again, it was a big contract, so we're talking tens of thousands of dollars a month or more of missed SLAs alone. It really was the SLAs and how we justified to our business, the managed service provider, that how we justified the savings to them. But we showed them, if you just don't miss one SLA, this thing is paid for. This is probably the most exciting thing that I get to talk about today, is because I tell people I do Remedy because it's easy. Well, AeroPrize is way easy. That you never ever do any real coding. All you do is you load it on your dev box, you bring it up, and next thing you know, you're on a web page, an administrator's AeroPrize web page that says, okay, now what forms do you want to look at? And this tool is literally going out and looking at all your Remedy forms that's sitting on your ARS box, and it says, okay, and you start clicking boxes saying, I want to look at this one, I want to look at this one, and on this form I want these fields, and on this form I want these fields, and I want these permissions, these groups, and again, the groups and all the users are literally an import. We literally, on the implementation I've been talking about that's been running probably close to 5 years, we do nothing. We import users, we change users, if it's 1 or 2s, we log into this admin tool and we add the users. If it's 5 or 6, we import them. It's pretty straightforward. I would tell everybody on the phone, don't take my word for it. Go out there and find a couple of the competing people and evaluate them and bring those sales guys in and listen to what their product has. Some of them have some real cool bells and whistles and some really neat stuff. But when it came down to it, what is the user experience that you want?